Hello there, welcome to this video. We're going to talk about building lists within the new Dwarf book, really. My name's Dan, by the way. Hi. So the first question, really, that I've kind of already answered is, do we take Burlock Damson? The short answer is yes, because like a normal engineer is 50 points, he's another 35 points. He's got a +1 leadership, +1 attack, +1 weapon skill. His prepared positions is like entrenchment, but entrenchment for a normal engineer only applies to war machines. He can do a war machine and a unit of quarrelers or thunderers. You're probably going to have some thunderers in this engineering list, and we'll talk about why in a sec. Range finding optics is the same as artillery master, but in addition, it means the unit he joins are -1 to hit when shooting at long range. And yeah, his furnace hammer is strength artillery dice, so he could be like strength 8, AP2 flaming attacks. So furnace hammer is pretty cool as well. And the rivet gun does D3 hits instead of 1. So again, that's all. It's all pretty cool. I kind of want it to be quick shot, but you know, anyway, he's already very good, and he's definitely worth the extra points. We are going to have a dwarf engineer for 50 points. Now, the dwarf engineer can take the new. Would probably want a handgun. 1-8, so they're cool. The dwarf engineer has ballistic skill 5, right? So we've got some new engineering runes. I think Expeditionary marksman, which basically means he doesn't suffer modifiers for moving and shooting. So that's pretty good. That's a channel I like listening to because he's very sardonic and sarcastic, which is exactly my sense of humour. Anyway, right, so we've got Expeditionary Marksman. Where's the runes gone? So we've got some Engineer's Weapon runes. They followed all the normal rules for weapon runes. So you're allowed 3 per item. You're only allowed 1 master rune per force, and you're only allowed to duplicate runes with an asterisk next to them. None of these are duplicable, by the way. None of them have an asterisk, but these can be put on a crossbow or a handgun. Now, I think you want there's a couple of builds that you want really for your engineering runes. It says they can be inscribed upon a crossbow or handgun. It doesn't say that that crossbow or handgun has to belong to an engineer or an engineer sapper. Actually, let's just check the engineer sapper. They're also ballistic skill 5. But they're 20 points more expensive, and they're kind of. I want 2 of these for another reason. So yeah, these aren't going to do this job, as it were. Cool. The minor thing, like miners are special though, so they're taking up special slots. Like, right. Oh yeah, we were looking at the builds for. So I think you want 2 engineers that do 2 different builds with engineer weapon runes, right? The first thing you want is the master rune of piercing. So it makes it +1 strength, so his handgun goes up to strength 5, and then it shoots with through and through. So you hit a unit and it hits every single thing. So you know, with a strength 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, AP1 attack. So actually that can do quite a bit of damage to like infantry units. It's so essentially master rune of piercing. Rune of piercing One of those, 40 points. So you've then got a character that's 90, 108 points, basically. So that's 108 points for a pretty super, well, it's not a super bolt thrower, because a bolt thrower has, it starts off with strength 6, you can make it strength 7 with dwarves, and you can make it, basically no armor saves, so it's effectively AP 5. So, the dwarf bolt thrower does hit harder than this. I don't know whether to give it molten steel and enchanted as well. That's a possibility. I don't know whether to give it the rune of concussive force. I really like the rune of concussive force, because essentially you can make a unit stupid. It's a pity you've not got a mechanic to like negatively impact on a unit's leadership, but right. So then we want another dwarf engineer. So this one's going to sit back, actually. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make this one BSB. One, and that costs 25 points, doesn't it? Because I think that's going to be, that's a good model. You can make, in the Expeditionary Force, you can make your engineer a BSB. And I think this one's going to be sat at the back, constantly plinking away, right? This dwarf engineer, on the other hand, we're going to give a crossbow. So he's 50 points. Crossbow was what, 6, was it? Let's have Expeditionary Marksman as well. Do that again. And right, let's just check. Dwarf. Oh, I thought you could take a crossbow. No, you can only take a handgun. Alright, fair enough. Oh, that's a... Do I want another engineer, actually? Or do I want... Actually, what other heroes can I take in a... Expeditionary... I could take a Demon Slayer. I could take Thanes and Runesmiths. What weapon options do Thanes have? That's not Thanes. Runesmiths have. Right, they don't have options for shooty weapons. They're only BS4. What about a Thane? Are they any good? Yeah, they've only really got this Ancestral Grudge thing. They do have Rallying Cry, which is useful. They're BS4. And they can take a crossbow. No, I think I'll stick with an engineer, actually. I don't... If I'm in combat, something's... If this is in combat, something's gone wrong, right? Right. So then... Master Rune of Slaying is pretty cool, because it always wounds behemoths on a 3-up. And it has multiple wounds. The downside really is that you can only really put it on like a handgun or on a crossbow, and they're relatively low AP. So, doing D3 wounds, I mean, this is good against, like, for instance, giants or like the standalone monsters, but the monsters with the heroes on, not so good, because they tend to have a 2-up save and some kind of re-roll mechanic, or some ward saves, regens, and so on and so forth. So that's probably a waste of 50 points. You're just making your opponent take ward and re-roll, and you're just making your opponent pass some armor saves, really. Master Rune of Bursting Flame, however, is Rune of Rapid Fire, Master Rune. So multiple shots, 2, and quick shot. Right. You could give it Rune of Accuracy, which would essentially negate the -1 to hit for multiple shots. In fact, I think Rune of Rapid Fire on with Master Rune of Piercing works quite well as well, doesn't it? Because it's got a quick shot. Yeah, because that's just an upgrade. Am I being a bit thick? Do not suffer from moving and shooting. Well, quick shot is the same. So this is just a multiple shots 2 for an extra 5 points, basically. That's weird. What was it called? Rune of Rapid Fire. Yeah, so we're just giving it multiple wounds 2. And this one, multiple shots 2. So this one we've got Rune of, and this one was, what was it? Master Rune of Bursting Flame. Bursting Flame. So, cool. So that does 2d3 hits for each hit. So you've got 2 shots, 2d3, just 2d3 hits. So that's like, what is that on average? Like on average, that's 8 hits. So that's about as good as a unit of 16 Thunderers. You know? And this cost 90, 100, 115, 123 points for essentially one model that's sort of as good as 16. I mean, it's not as good as 16 Thunderers in the sense that there's not that much models. But anyway, we've got 3 decent heroes now who are going to probably do a bit of damage, and we've only actually spent 300 and odd points. We've got another few heroes to go, so yeah, let's pay our core tax now. Right, in this we want, how many do we want? I want 16 Thunderers actually. And what are they? 10 each, something like that. Ba 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 ba. 10 each. Yes. Yes. A veteran. We can give them great weapons and shields. I mean, Expeditionary Marksman, that's going to cost you. So that basically removes move and shoot from them, which is, you know, pretty effective because they've got handguns, got ponderous, so it's -2 to move and shoot. These, nuh-uh. So these are now pretty useful. It's a pity you can't give them drilled and make them like super good, but anyway. Full command. One of those, that costs 15. And can we take... No, we can't take any magical stuff. So do we want to... No, because he's replacing his handgun, so we don't want to give him those things. Do we want to give the unit shields? I mean, I might change my mind on this later, but yeah, we'll give them some shields. And basically, Burlock can go and sit in this unit of 16 Thunderers at the top of the army, this unit. So that basically, what you've got is you've got a unit that doesn't suffer modifiers for move and shoot, so it can move 3 inches. It can shoot at long range without penalty, and it can do all this without penalty. So essentially, you know, if you arrange your ranks such that, you know, you can get a decent amount of shots off, you're going to be hitting on 4s even at long range, and the move and shoot effectively allows you to increase the range of the handgun to essentially 27 inches from was it 24. So that makes that quite effective, and that's actually not that expensive. And then rangers. Right, and what I want is I want a counter, a core counter. So let's do that. Right, so Rangers. Actually, we're allowed a Scout Gyrocopter in core, so we'll put one of those in core. They cost 70 points each, I think. Because essentially where I want to end up with, so essentially you got 60 points. So these are 60 points, yeah. So essentially I quite like the Gyrocopter and the Scout Gyrocopter, and I think they do two slightly different jobs. So essentially if we have two Scout Gyrocopters and two Gyrocopters, you can essentially use the old Gyrocopter to they supplement each other basically in their abilities, really. The Scout Gyrocopter has like a fly 10, whereas the Gyrocopters fly 9. The Gyrocopter has toughness 5, the Scout's only got 4, and so the Scout Gyrocopter's a lower toughness and it has worse armour. So it has 5 up armour save, whereas a normal Gyrocopter has toughness 5 and has 4 up armour save. However, the Scout Gyrocopter's ballistic skill 4, the normal Gyrocopter's ballistic skill 3. So I think one of each. You can give them both a clatter gun. I'd probably do that, although I would be tempted to just take the steam cannon on a normal Gyrocopter, because the clatter gun's not really going to hit very much anyway. But at least with the Scout, you probably will. It's multiple shots D6, right? It's got move and shoot, which basically means march and shoot, and it's got quick shot, which means it doesn't suffer modifiers for moving and shooting. So you can essentially fly this 20 inches, and as long as you're within 12, the clatter gun to keep the kind of the range down, then so yeah, this can be really useful for just like hunting down war machines and stuff like that. There are some armies that this list that I'm building will probably struggle against massively, like a sort of an undead might find it difficult to deal with. But I think, Scout Gyrocopter definitely. So we're allowed one for core choice. One unit. You can take multiple in a unit. I prefer units of one. Just makes more sense, I think, to me anyway. And then dwarf carts are core, so we can stick a dwarf cart in here. I don't really need dwarf carts, I don't think. I'm not sure I really need them. I do want some Rangers, because Rangers are great. So let's have 16 Rangers. And with your Rangers, you really do want to give them all the upgrades. I am informed by many Dwarf players that Rangers with all the upgrades are great. So here's the Rangers. So they're 11 points each. This is going to probably fill up the core selection. Great weapons, 16 of them. And in fact, great weapons and shields. So again, the great weapons and shields, and then we can take throwing axes on top, and then full command is 18. Throwing axes, 16 of those, they're one. Full command is 18 points, and there's one of those. I think, yeah. And then we're allowed to take some standard runes. So what have they got? Have they got scouts? All right. But actually, we're not going to use the scouts very often, typically. Because you want to stick a character in them, effectively. Oh, what am I doing? Where's the standard runes? Let's see what we've got available for 25. +1 combat res. Vanguard, so it can make a 3-inch move after deployment. It seems utterly pointless, but yeah, I think. Oh no, we've gone over the 25. We've gone over the 500 for core. So we've paid the core tax. That's all right, and we've got 1,100 points left. So, right, let's go and fill in the cool stuff. So, organ gun. Should we have 3 of those? I think we should. So, have 3 of those. And also in the Expeditionary Force, we're allowed the normal bolt throwers, grudge throwers, and cannons. It's got to be cannons, really, hasn't it? Cannons are 100 points. Bolt throwers are only 55 points, though. So the difference is cannons are strength. So cannons have their cannon fire mechanic. They're strength 10, so they don't really need to roll to hit. And sort of slightly more reliable than bolt throwers. Here we are. Yeah, you can take this Master Rune of Immolation and put it like up the front. Master Rune of Disguise is interesting. Always considered to be behind full cover. I mean, basically all that means though is that you -2 to hit. Like, whatever. So the Rune of Skewering is pretty cool. So it makes a bolt throw essentially strength 7 and no armor saves, which is excellent. So that makes your bolt thrower 75 points. And if you take multiple, obviously, you're going to have to mix up the runes a little bit. So give 1 stalwart and 1, burning as well on top. Rune of Reloading is good for a cannon because obviously, that negates the effect of some kind of misfires. You can give a cannon Rune of Forging, but we've got enough engineers around that you don't really need to. So, in fact, I think with the number of engineers that we have, you don't really need the Rune of Reloading. So, do I take like a bolt thrower with the Rune of Skewering and a couple of cannons? I think that's the strat, isn't it? Because then, yeah. Two of those. And actually, I think that's enough for artillery, really. Because, you've got 1 engineer that's going to go near the block of organ guns, which is going to be... We'll have a... Actually, let's start Warhall loading, because it takes a while to sort itself out. Sometimes. Oh, no. Okay. Right, so let's add Dwarfen Mountain Heralds. Let's add characters, and we want an engineer. boom, an engineer, boom, and an engineer, boom. One of these is going to be Burlock, and we also want another engineer. So we want one engineer sapper. So let's have an engineer sapper for 70 points, just one. What can we give an engineer sapper that makes him slightly better? Where is he? Here we go, 70 points. Give him a handgun for 8. Great weapon. May take any, yeah, great weapon and handgun. See, what the sapper does basically, you take a leadership test, the character in the unit they've joined becomes entrenched, so it's behind partial cover and defending a low linear obstacle. Which basically means if it's charged, the unit that charged it is disordered, which means A, they don't get their rank bonus, and B, I don't think they get their initiative bonus either. So that's pretty cool. Weapon and what was it? Handgun. That's costing 12, wasn't it, for both? Something like that. Although they're here. Great weapon. 12 for both, yeah. And then we can give it weapon, armor, and talisman runes. So we could give it some of these new engineer rune things. I mean, the ballistic skill 5, so they're kind of worth upgrading a little bit. They're going to be at the front. Let's give it the rune of concussive force, and the reason for that is it's going to be at the front with the rangers basically, and the rangers and this engineer, so special they normally are, aren't they? Apparently not. So that's a unit. In fact, I wanted it to... Anyway, it doesn't really matter. And then we've got some... Oops. Then we've got some Thunderers. 2 ranks. Front. 9. Is that how we have to do it? And then... Cool. And then we put one of these in there, and that's that. Nice. And the command doesn't seem to be in the middle, but anyway, so we've got some handgunners, we've got some rangers. I don't know how to change their formation, but never mind. Then we've got what else have we got? So we need to go special because we've got cannon, boom boom. So cannon, like stick a cannon like here maybe, and stick another cannon in the woods because you can see out quite easily. Nice, like that. And then let's stick and then we need to go rare because we've got boom boom boom. So let's stick an organ gun there. Let's have an organ gun here, so he's within range of Burlock, who's in this unit, and an organ gun can go here like that, something like that probably, with another ranger, with another engineer here, something like that. Actually probably a bit more like that. Let's spread them out a little bit more. Nice. And then, so how many points have we actually got left? We've got 457 points left. What do we really need on the table? Because this is very shooting heavy. The rangers are pretty much where the only combat poke is. I'm not sure I like this list now. I am really tempted by Demon Slayer. I know it sounds a bit sort of counterintuitive, but to be fair, like the organ guns, they've got like, to be fair, the organ guns are like they're going to be doing like 14, 15 shots. So 7 or 8 will hit. They're kind of the strength 5 and AP 2, I think, as standard. So organ guns are really, 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 really good. And then you got some. Then you got a couple of cannons. I think a couple of cannons is good. And then so we've got the engineer sapper to go in that with the rune of concussive force. And basically, what that's going to do is the rune of concussive force in here is going to mean that essentially, as the units get closer to the rangers, he can essentially just make pot shots at various units and just just make them stupid, which could be super, super effective. Like especially if a unit of infantry is here is like ready for a charge, he just pops at them, makes them stupid. They fail stupidity, and then they have to just move forwards, allowing us to get another round of shooting in. That could be good, but again, it's not reliable because it's reliant on your opponent failing a leadership test, which isn't tremendously likely. But the other thing as well is all the war machines we can like move around and still use, so that will throw people off as well. So we can they're not. Your opponent's going to be. I mean, your opponent's going to be in two minds as to whether to come into short range of the organ guns or not with their cavalry. But if they come into short range of the organ guns, the cavalry will probably get blown away. So it's it's a tricky army to play against, basically. Because look, see, strength 5, AP 1, armor bane 2. Sorry, multi-ball. So they lose move or shoot in the expeditionary force thing. Just in case you're wondering why I was talking about moving them around. Function over form, so that you can reduce their toughness by 1. But essentially, you've got that many engineers so you've got Burlock and 2 other engineers. Well, these 3 could all be like entrenched at the start of the game. Yes, they lose it as soon as they move, but moving backwards as soon as does it that's a really good point, actually. Does it lose it when it pivots? Is it like as soon as it moves, or as soon as it moves? I know they've just clarified that, any kind of move is a move. Should the war machine move for any reason, it is no longer entrenched. Okay. Well, luckily, in the rule book, I don't think did. I wonder what the fire arc actually is of war machines. Like, do you have to? What is it going to be called? Oh, what is it called? uh, 90. Okay, units. Models. That's about skirmishers. They count as skirmishers. Models do not have flank or rear arcs. Okay. So unless it says, I don't think you actually have to move them at all, do you? No, I don't think war machines actually have arcs, do they? I'm not sure. Comment down below. But I think because they're skirmishers, technically, they don't actually have arcs. That's a spell. Unless stated otherwise, but it says under skirmishers, so it doesn't say anything about war machines here, does it? It doesn't say anything about war machines, so I don't think you actually have to move them. So what you'd probably want to do, therefore, is probably stick that there and that there like that on this table anyway. And actually, you can put him in front because he's just got to be within 3, and then he can't be targeted. What that means is, as soon as an enemy unit sort of pops out down here, then both they get grape shotted and they get organ gunned. Which is, you know, pretty good. Nice. Right. Okay. So we've got 450 points. Oh, we've forgotten about gyrocopters. So we want another scout gyrocopter. Boom, boom. That's not cool. Two of them are 50 points. Are they 50 points? Have I got that right? I've said that. I thought... where are they? Sort of around about here somewhere, aren't they? The real sad thing about the Expeditionary Force is you can't take Iron Drakes, and Iron Drakes are mega. And that's why I'm kind of a bit down on the... I think I'm probably going to go back to my original Dwarf list and just enhance it a little bit with the cool stuff that they've released. There we go, Gyrocopter. Oh no, they are 60 points based. Okay. Right, so then we've got 277 points left. I'm really tempted to take another unit of Rangers, because I think we've got a lot of... Because this is the downside of the Expeditionary Force. There's not a lot of combat poke, right? You can take some miners, but miners are just awful, just awful units. They're just really no good. 12 points base to begin with, so they're already more expensive than a ranger. Rangers have ballistics of 4. They've got great weapons and heavy armor. They can't take shields, so they're quite flimsy. You can give them veterans, which is alright. You can make them open order, which I don't know why you do that. You can give them blasting charges, which, is a stand and shoot thing. But, I mean, I don't... That's not much more use than just having, dwarf crafted, because, do you know what I mean? So it's like, if you've got, a normal missile weapon, it's arguably... Well, and this is another reason, actually, that Iron Drakes are so good, because they have quick shot built into their weapons, and their weapons are really, really good. So, yes, you've made a decentish unit of Thunderers here, that's going to be okay at long range, but realistically, it's, not that good, really. So anyway, let's get another unit of these Rangers in, I think, because they're pretty cool. And then we've got 19 points left, so we can sort of spray that around somewhere. But I think that's a really decent... we've got 3 engineers. We've got the best engineer and 2 really good engineers that have lots going for them. Yeah, so then we're doing core rangers. We're doing 2 ranks of 8 and a full command. So let's make that. So that could probably go here, maybe, I don't know, or reinforce another flank or something. So that's... Actually, yeah, we kind of want the opponent to come around here, don't we? So, yeah, we'll just put that there. Oops. Yeah. I wish they'd clarify the rules about being in cover, because like if a unit from here is shooting that, does it count as being in cover, even though it's not fully behind it? Do you know what I mean? Does it really have to be like that in order for it to be fully in cover? And this unit, like, is it the majority of the unit that's in cover? Oh, we've got 2 organ guns in that wood. Oh, we've got a cannon and an organ gun. Alright, well, we want those in cover. Cool. And these we could say are skirmishing if we really wanted to. Although you got to be careful with skirmishers nowadays because of the new coherency stuff. In that, and also if you can't make it into combat, the model just dies. I mean, it doesn't count towards combat res, I don't think. But anyway, I think that's an idiot, and I forgot the gyrocopters. They're the cool bit. Gyrocopters 1. So we've got basically, I think it's like World War One planes. Right, so we've got a scout gyrocopter and a gyrocopter on each flank like that. I think, do the scout gyrocopters get Vanguard or something? They do have Vanguard. Do normal gyrocopters have Vanguard? I can't remember. I think they do. But again, memory. Gyro bombers don't, I don't think. Just, yeah, out of point of order. No, Vanguard, they do have Vanguard. So these can all, like, move straight away. So we can move that, like... So if that's the gyrocopter, and this one would want snug up to here, so that one can go to there. So that's after the deployment. And we'll probably do something like that. So essentially that's what it's going to look like after deployment on this kind of table. I mean, that's a lot of firepower. So essentially we've got a slower thing with the flame cannon here, and then this can basically nip 20 inches next turn to go, like, well, wherever the hell it likes, really. So essentially you've got the gyrocopters being a nuisance, and then this just constantly bombarding the enemy until there's nothing left. I'm still tempted to take a bolt thrower though, instead of one of the cannons, to be honest. But I don't know. Yeah, so I think that's the list, isn't it? I think we're getting pretty close. I'm reasonably happy with this one. I think this makes a decent amount of sense. It looks alright on the table actually as well. It looks like it's like reasonably, there's a reasonable amount of balance there. And, you know, basically what you want is, you probably want this like staggered a little bit, to be honest. But what you probably want is, you know, units to be charging these and these. Because they've got great weapons, and they've got, like, throwing axes, which can do a bit of damage. You know, throwing axes have got quick shot, basically. So they can do a bit of damage on the way in. And this one will probably be entrenched, so it's going to be like -1 to hit, because it's behind. Is it -1 or would it be -2 actually? Partial cover, yeah, so -1. So yeah, and then you got a couple of engineers. So this engineer here lends his sort of reliability buff to this one. You've got Burlock, so that's Burlock who lends his reliability to these two. You've got an engineer. Where's the other engineer? I've lost an engineer. Is he? Oh, there he is. He's hiding there. Yeah, so that's Burlock who can lend his reliability to these two. This one is the one that's got the multiple hits thing. And again, actually, you might want to put him like over there as well. So this is multiple hits dude. This is like bolt thrower dude. Because really what you want is like your opponent to bring their cavalry here, because they're trying to get their cavalry round so it can get like a side shot, basically. Or I suppose you could put like that guy over here somewhere, so as you get like units coming in here, he can just pop out and get like a nice flank shot. So you kind of, I suppose you want bolt throw a dude on the flank somewhere, don't you? So yeah, Burlock, I'd move him around within this unit. There we go. So he can lend his reliability there, and then this dude can go like. Let's stagger those a little bit so they don't all die. And he can move 3 inches to there because he doesn't mind moving and shooting, does he? Okay, so yeah, that all looks pretty good. And remember, you know, he's got 2 shots with bolt thrower sort of characteristics. I mean, not as good because the AP's 1 instead of 3, and the strength is 5 instead of 6. So not as good, but ballistic skill 5 times 2 is pretty good. And this guy's got like multiple hits, so you know, 2 shots hitting on probably 3s, but if you get a hit, then you get 2d3 hits, which is pretty good. Cool. So this is pretty well defended anyway. And then if the opponent's cavalry like does make its way through here, then you've got all of this to deal with it basically, which is pretty good. I am still really tempted to take a Slayer somehow and stick some kind of Slayer in this somewhere. But yeah, I think as an expeditionary, I'm pretty happy with that. Do these add tabs work? Scarred. Okay, thanks. It's all in Spanish. What I was going to quickly do is try and... there's an ad there, so I thought, well, let's have a look. Games Workshop. Warhammer Old World. It's all Spanish, isn't it? Oh, this isn't a very good web cart, is it? Oh, go away. Right, let's just quickly price up the army. Dwarfen Mountain Holds, yep, please. So you you probably want that actually, because you've got essentially your thunderers, you know, are there. You've got 2 units of rangers that you can use these to basically convert into. Yeah, rangers. Yeah, they haven't released standalone models for rangers, so you can just do like and just clip some great weapons to their back and the shields and stuff, and make them look like massively overly armed, and then you'll be fine. We haven't got a runesmith. Those are, yeah. Oh, Doomseekers, they're so cool. Let's have all those engineers. Oh, some have got pistols. I don't really want the ones. Okay, so we're gonna have to buy all of them for reasons. That's all that we can buy right now. Okay, so I can't even price it up. Right, okay. So because we've got no cannons or anything like that available, so we can't price it up. So that's a bit annoying. But yeah, the flame cannon, no organ gun. How bizarre. Everything's still on pre-order. Right, okay. I think I've waffled for long enough, but yeah, I think that looks like a decent-ish list. It's probably going to cost you what, 100 and... Hold on a minute, let's have a think. 110, like they're probably going to be like 30 odd each, so that's 170, 180, then all the cannons. Let's say 240, 250 quid, something like that maybe. Which actually isn't that bad price-wise for a 2,000 point army. That's okay. I'm just thinking about my Tomb Kings. That's cost me, what, 110, 210, 280, 330, 350, 360, 370-ish. Something like that. So, yeah. Cool. Right. Well, anyway, but if you found this video useful in any way or not, and you disagree with something, or I've cocked up and got something wrong, please make a comment. If you have liked the video, there's a button for that, and if you're this far in and you've not subscribed, you might want to consider it. So I've got all the way through without yawning. I've recently explained that I've had a few health problems recently, and that's resulted in me yawning way too much. But blood flow problems. Anyway, yeah, I hope everybody is okay and doing well, and I shall see you again soon. So all that remains for me to do is say toodle.